So BIDMAS, or order of operations, we also have to use that with fractions as well as with integers. And hopefully you remember that BIDMAS, we've got brackets, we've then got indices or powers, then we have divide, multiply. I'm just going to put their little signs above there. Divide, multiply, add, and subtract. So we have 6 things that we have to do in a particular order, and we always go left to right through these. Now the important thing to remember is that division and multiplication are a happy pair. They go together. And so are addition and subtraction. Now if you have a problem that has only division and multiplication or only addition and subtraction, you actually just go left to right. You don't have to worry about order. So see, I've got a little arrow there underneath to tell me that if I've only got adding and subtracting, I would go just left to right in my problem. Same if I've got only dividing and multiplying, I just go left to right. So what we're going to look at here, we've got 2 problems. The first one, 2 divided by a fifth plus 1. I can see that I've got brackets here. So that's what I'm going to have to do first. Okay, so the brackets part, I'm adding 1 and 1/5. Now what we'd really like to do is add both of these numbers so they're the same over the same denominator. So we could write that 1, and I'll just do this in blue underneath, 2 divided by 1/5 plus, we know that 1, if we look at a little block, I'll divide this up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. If we look at 1, we know that 1 is the same as all of those pieces being shaded in. So 1 is the same as 5/5. And I'm choosing fifths because I want these to be the same denominator. So what I've got now is I've got 2 divided by 1/5 plus 5/5. 5/5 is 1. We know that that is 6/5. So 1/5 plus 5/5. Remember when you're adding fractions, you just add those numerators together as long as the denominators are the same. Now we've done the brackets, so we don't actually need these brackets anymore. I'm just going to move this other problem here as well. We'll do this one second. Just move this one over here. Oops. So now we've got a division problem. And remember that with fractions, we can use our classic for fractions and division. We do stay, change, flip. So if we've got division, anytime that we've got division, we use stay, change, flip. So what that means is stay means that we keep this first number the way it is. Change means we change the divide into a times. And flip means that we flip this fraction over. So the 5 goes on the top, the 6 goes underneath. Now we have multiplying. Now with multiplying, we always have to multiply the tops together with the bottoms of the fraction. I always say tops and bottoms. Tops and bottoms, that's when you're multiplying. You can see here that we've actually got a top, 2 and a 5. We don't seem to have a bottom here. What we know is that every whole number can be written as over 1. So this is 2 over 1 times 5 over 6. Now we've got tops and bottoms and we can actually multiply them together. So 2 times 5 is 10 and 1 times 6 is 6. Now you want to make this in what we call simplest form. So look for a number that divides into both the top and the bottom there. And we know these are both even numbers, so we can divide them both by 2. So we get 10 divided by 2, which is 5, and 6 divided by 2, which is 3. So that means that for this particular problem, 2 divided by 1/5 plus 1, the answer to that problem is 5/3. So that's our answer. So I'll actually just put a little rectangle around that one. So that was our first problem that we did and we found our answer. So it was all about doing things in order, and the key thing there was to make sure that we did the brackets first and then we were able to do the division. Okay, so the next one that I want to look at is just right next to it. This one here. Just going to get rid of some of this. Got a bit more room. Now have a look at this next question. What would you do first? Okay. Now I can see that I've got a couple of things there. I've got division and I've got subtraction. Now looking at my BIDMAS, I have to make sure that I do my division first and then I can do my subtraction. So I'm going to do this part here first. So the division part, remember we're going to do stay, change, flip. So I'm just going to write my working underneath. You can see how I do lots of multiple lines. I leave this alone because I haven't done anything with that yet. I haven't done anything with the takeaway. Now we're going to do stay, change, flip. Stay, done. Change the divide to a times, and flip the 1/3 over. Now we can multiply tops and bottoms. So tops together, and then the bottoms multiply together. So I can see we've got 9 over 2, take away 7 times 3 is 21, 5 times 1 is 5. Now this would have been awesome if we actually had the same denominator here, we don't. Now if we look at 2 and 5, I know that the lowest common multiple of 2 and 5, if I look at 2, the multiples of 2 are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Multiples of 5 are, 5, 10, 15. I can see that the lowest common multiple of 2 and 5 is 10. So that's going to be my new denominator. My new denominator will be 10. So what I need to do is look at those two denominators. 5, we need to turn it into 10, and I can turn 5 into 10 by multiplying by 2. Remember, with fractions, you have to do the same thing to the top and the bottom. So I'd have to times the top by 2. Now we want the new denominator to be 10. So 2, we'd have to times that by 5 to make that 10. And same with the top, times this top by 5. So now let's write out what we have. 9 times 5, 45. 2 times 5 is 10. Take away. 21 times 2 is actually 42. And you could do that this way. 2 and 4. And 5 times 2 is 10. So now we can see we've actually got 45 take away 42. And we know that that would be 3 tenths. So our answer here for this question, it actually looks like a really simple question, but there's a couple of things that have to happen, is 3 tenths. And the way we got there was, first of all, by doing our division first because of BIDMAS. We did stay, change, flip. And then we did our subtraction, but we had to make sure that we had a common denominator, because if you don't have a common denominator, you can't add and subtract fractions. So we made sure we had a common denominator, and then we were able to find our answer. So for that last question, 9 over 2 minus 7 over 5 divided by a third, the answer is 3 tenths.